the businesses in Egypt became extremely successful. You had also the merger with Unilever, and you were at the peak of your business career when the opportunity came to join the Egyptian government. As a successful businessman, how difficult was that a decision to make?
If I look back at my life, I see my life going into phases of things, and I like that. It added a lot to my development and my capabilities. And I would encourage young people to be open to that. If you have the chance every few years to do something different, whether it's different in your own business, but it's a different function or it's a different activity, or you change job or you change geography or you change responsibility, that is very helpful. If we do the same thing for a very long time, we got used to it, we got bored of it, we feel that there is diminishing return and we reach a plateau. But if there is an element of change, then you take everything out of the previous experience and then you start adding on it. And that could create something unique in terms of the combination of things. I was in Alexandria, I had my own business as a family business. That business developed in a very significant way. Then we created a very successful joint venture with Unilever in Egypt. And then that Unilever business expanded across the borders to other countries in the Middle East, many countries in the East Mediterranean and in south of Egypt and all the way to Turkey. But then something very unusual happened is that Unilever, as a multinational, they came to me and they proposed that I join the company as an executive director, which meant that I leave my family business and I go and live in London as an executive in a different company. And I said at the time to the chairman, I've never been working for anybody in my life. But he convinced me because there was a very high level of excitement to be in charge of a very significant operation globally. And at the time, Unilever was expanding in food, and I was going to be involved in an operation of about 60 billion in different countries.
Wow.
And that gave an amazing opportunity. I went through that experience for a period of 4 years. And then the call came to join the government in Egypt. That was totally unexpected. I had no expectation, I had no preparation, I had no anticipation for it. I was called by a prime minister, and of course, typical to government job, they want you to be there in 24 hours, which meant that you have to drop everything. I said at the time to the prime minister, how do you want me to do that? I'm sitting on a board of, at the time, of 26 companies, and I have responsibilities. Told them that it's like leaving your house and being hit by a bus, because you're not just coming back, right? But that was government. I mean, when governments are formed, they don't give you 1 month's notice, 2 months' notice. They gave me actually a request to be there in 24 hours. I hesitated in the beginning. It took a bit of time to convince myself, to talk to my family, to be comfortable with the position, because there was something else. You know, I was going to be minister in the government of Egypt, and Egypt was not used to have private sector people in the government. In reality, I was the first private sector minister since 1952. And then later on, other people joined. With the approval of my family, I said, fine, I'm going to do it. I decided, again, in the same spirit that I am open to do a different phase in my life, I went back and I played the role of a government minister. It was successful. I do not regret doing it, because I was always saying to myself, and I was always saying to my daughters and family, that if I feel that I can make a difference in the life of one person, it's worth it. During the period I've spent in the government, there have been so many development and so many positive things that happened that made it very clear to me that there was a positive impact on the sectors of industry and trade and export and development and creativity, but it was also touching the minds and the hearts of young people. This is something that is very close to my heart, not only in my position as a government, but also in my position all across my life in companies, because in my businesses in Egypt, when I left the business to join the government, there were 7,000 people working. And out of the 7,000 people working, I assume 95% of them were very young. It was really beautiful, and I have the satisfaction until today when I meet some people to say we were working together, and that period have had an impact on their life and on their success in the future.